Merry meet and welcome to our stream, everybody. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. This is a general reading for all signs for today, the 19th of October, 2023. Moderating on YouTube is the lovely Deline, and observing with Deline today is the new moderator, Sandra. Welcome, Sandra. We're so happy to have you with us. And on Twitch is the lovely Diane. Thank you so much, Deline, Diane, and Sandra for moderating today. And thank you to everybody for joining us today. If you happen to be watching on a restream on YouTube, you can fast forward through the shuffling if you feel like it, using those timestamps. Today I'm reading with the Tarot of the Witches by Fergus Hall. That's the one from the 007 movie Live and Let Die. This is Vervain by L'Occitan, which is my van today that I'm going to use to purify this space. 3 sprays in this nice big room. You can find information to purchase those products in the video description of this very video on my YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you follow us on Twitch. You can watch on Twitch without any ads when you subscribe to us there. This reading does go out to a lot of people, so if for some reason it doesn't seem to apply to you, you can just disregard it because it may not be meant for you. In that case, check out the zodiacal readings for your own sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. You can find the most recent replays of all of the tarot readings, all the most recent tarot readings on my website, ariels-corner.com, Ariel's Corner with a hyphen.com. Just click on the free online tarot readings link right in the main menu. I do not read with card reversals, so you will see me flipping cards right side up. It's how I like to read. If you'd like to give us a donation, you can do that by going to paypal.me/arielgatoga, paypal.me/arielgatoga. If you're watching on YouTube, you could use a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks if you'd like to give a donation. And all of the other kinds of payment options for donating are available in the donate link on the footer of every single page on our website, ariels-corner.com, Ariel's Corner with a hyphen.com. We also have a shop, and that's at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. We have a lot of different tarot decks and other merchandise listed there. We do make a small commission off of each and every sale. Thank you again so much for joining us today. I'm going to give this deck a nice clean cut. We'll see what's in the cards for everybody. Today, the 19th of October, 2023, starting out with the Star card, wouldn't you know? And then the World, and then it ends up with this beautiful 3 of coins. So the World card is the winning card. It trumps all trumps. It's the highest numbered card. So if you were playing a game of tarot, they actually, because a lot of people don't realize that tarot is a game, and that's how the cards were first developed, is as a game. And it's a very complicated, difficult game. It's very similar to bridge, only even harder. But this, if you have this World card in your hand, you are good to go. You have the winning hand. And so you have the winning hand today. And the winning hand today can also include financial well-being for many of you that have been working real hard on finances and getting things together financially. And today is a very auspicious day, I should say, for very auspicious day for you financially. Now, the Star card is what you're coming out of, and I think that this sort of is giving us an indicator as to why things are so good, and that's because of the divine grace that you have been receiving. You can't receive divine grace unless you're giving it, so many of you must have been letting people off the hook. Many of you must be having been involved in some sort of forgiveness, some sort of graciousness, because it's being returned to you very, very highly. You have a lot of grace. This goddess here, you can't really see her because it's such an odd way of illustrating the Star card. It's very non-traditional. But the Star goddess in most of the decks is seen pouring water into a body of water, a large lake or possibly river or stream, usually a lake. And that lake can represent your deep mind. And so she's actually purifying your deep mind. She's going into your past and undoing the consequences of any mistake that you or others have made. And it's impossible to receive something that you don't give. That's just the way the universe works. So for you to receive all that grace, it's imperative that you be giving the grace as well. And it seems like that's probably the case. So it's so far an amazing, amazing day. And maybe even more than just a day. It looks like a trend for many of you. All right, we have an 8 of Wands. We have a 10 of Swords. Let's put it this way. And we have a 3 of Swords. Okay, so there's like a dual track here. There's the beauty, the winningness, the graciousness, and the prosperity. And then there's things coming to an end, the piper being paid in a negative way. You know, a lot of negative and dastardly outcomes due to your own wrongdoing or your own bad decisions or your own negative thoughts coming home to roost, and then great loss. And when I see it so clearly separated here, it's saying this is a very clear choice to everybody today. You can either have that winning hand, stay in that graciousness and be prosperous, or you can turn your back on that grace, double down on your resentments, and get what you get. So I think a lot of times what happens is things go well, and I know for me this is the case. I'll put a lot of these principles into practice, and things are going really well, and then I just take it for granted, and I forget how I got there. And then I have things turn around in a bad way for me. And then I say, oh yeah, that's right. I had to do all that spiritual stuff to get to where I was. And then I put the spiritual stuff on the back burner. So it's saying, don't put that spiritual stuff on a back burner. You don't want to take any of the good that you have for granted. You want to stay gracious. You want to stay forgiving. You want to receive that grace and receive that giving so that you can have and hold and utilize that winning hand. You don't want to throw away your winning hand just so that you can have some resentments, just so that you can be right about something, just so that you can not give up your pain. And it sounds, when you say it like that, it sounds like, well, why would anybody not want to give up their pain? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how frequently we say, no, I think I'll hang on to the pain instead of the relief. And that's just because we believe what our ego tells us. We believe what our ego tells us to be true, that somehow it's going to keep us safer than infinite intelligence will keep us. And we know that's not true when we think of it logically, but how easily we are hooked by things and by our own egos. So it's saying today that you have a very clear decision to make, and you want to make it moment to moment to moment, to whether you want to stay on this wonderful trend that you are on, or whether you want to just chuck the whole thing and go back into chaos, and you want to go back into pain and loss. You want the whole thing to come toppling down. So this 8 of Wands can sometimes be a really positive card, but can also be a negative card depending on what's surrounding it. And as I see this as being a very separate track, this is things toppling down that you've worked so hard at establishing. And down here, it's that no matter what mistakes you've made, that you don't have any consequences for them, because you are willing to let other people's mistakes be forgiven as well. But then the ego says, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to let them off the hook. It's only you that should have that. It's only you that should be benefited by forgiveness. You don't want to give them that. If you give them that, then that gives them the free license to abuse you or to do whatever wrongs, that you think that they've done. And it's really easy sometimes to just lull ourselves to sleep and just go, oh, okay, and go along with the ego. But you don't want to do that. You don't want this 10 of Swords. You don't want this 3 of Swords. That's not the kind of life that you're meant to live. You're meant to live a life of grace and success and joy and happiness. But it really is a moment by moment a decision that you have to make. And so your ability to give grace and give forgiveness to others is something that has more power than you ever could possibly imagine. But remember, you cannot have anything you don't give. You cannot receive or keep anything that you are not willing to share. And so you can't have the benefit of the grace of the star goddess if you're not willing to give it to others. You can't have the benefit and the grace of having this winning hand if you're not willing to have others win as well. You can't have these wonderful manifestations unless you're willing to share those manifestations with others. If you make those choices that, no, it's just me and I don't want them, especially those people, because those people are bad. They don't deserve it. When you start becoming that judgmental based on what you think the story is, because you think you're so smart and you know the whole story, then you put yourself at risk. You put yourself at risk again of being vulnerable to all of the very things of the world that you are tacitly wishing upon those people who you think are bad, who you think don't deserve grace, that you think don't deserve to have forgiveness, and you want to see punished. See? And we can be very justified in our desire to see other people punished. Well, yeah, but they really did something bad. They really did something bad. Well, okay, but that's not necessarily up to us to determine. You know, all that's up to us to determine is that these people are children of the infinite, and they deserve our grace. They deserve our forgiveness. And the way that their karma settles upon them is not really up to us. We don't have any influence over that. A lot of people say, well, karma's coming to them. You don't know what that means. That's not up to you. That's none of your business. So when you get involved in all of that, they're guilty and they should be punished and all of that. I know it seems very justified because you do think that you have all the facts, but it's none of your concern. And when you get all up into other people's justice and what they deserve, then you're calling that upon yourself, even though you don't deserve it. See, because that's just how it works. That's how it works. What you give is what you create for yourself. So you want to remind yourself of that day to day to day, that it's not up to me to determine who's guilty and innocent. It's not up, unless I'm on a jury and that's my job, or unless I'm a judge and that's my job. I've been given that to do. But it's not up to me to determine people's innocence or guilt. It's not up to me to wish punishment on other people, even sort of subtly. What it's up to me to do is to see everybody in my mind as a divine child of the infinite, and that they are just ultimately as souls, just as innocent as everybody else, and that within the soup of this world, with all of these clashing egos, yeah, they might be involved in some horrible behavior, and that will work itself out. And unless, like I said, unless I'm technically involved in something in regards to their guilt or innocence, in regards to like maybe being a police officer or a judge or a jury member or something like that, it's really not my concern. And it's so costly for me to carry around judgment about other people and wishing upon other people. And that includes people on television. That includes people in politics. That includes everybody. The more you're willing to have a big opinion about other people's guilt and what they deserve, the more you're wishing that same thing upon yourself. So you're not giving anybody any license or power to be bad by finding a place in you that's willing to see them as an innocent child of the universe, beyond their egos and beyond their behaviors. But what you are doing when you do that is giving that to yourself. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. That's a formula. You have to do one to get the other. All right, you're going to do great. This is, I think, the ultimate track you're going to be on, but just be aware that the ego wants you to be on a completely different track today. I do have two meditations that may interest you. One on the world card is the world card. There's a meditation called Invoking the Circle of Angels, and for the star card, there's Receiving the Divine Grace of the Star Goddess, and you can find the link to all of the tarot meditations in the video description of this very video on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much to the amazing moderators, Delene, Diane, and welcome Sandra. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Blessed be.